Hello and welcome to the Ferret Business Podcast. I am your host, Yemmy the Ferret, aka Yemmy, and with me today is a Let's Player who plays all sorts of games from Pokemon to Dark Souls. He has special days like Pokemondays and Friday Mania. It's IsraelMania. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thank you.
How you doing today, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. And you?
I've had a pretty interesting day, but not too bad, not too bad at all. All of IsraelMania's links to social medias will be down in the description below, of course. So make sure you check them out on Twitter and on YouTube.
Appreciate it.
So first, let's talk about where the name IsraelMania comes from. What's the story behind that?
It's kind of a crazy story, actually. Whenever I was a lot younger, my sister came up with the name, but I used to record these goofy videos just whenever I was younger.
Okay.
And that's sort of where it came from. It's kind of a weird story, actually.
Well, hey, I'm all for weird stories, man.
But yeah, I used to record these goofy videos whenever I was when I was by myself, and my sister she just put them all together and made this really long goofy stretch of videos, and called it IsraelMania.
Okay.
That's sort of where the name originally came from.
Well, that's pretty funny, actually. That's cool, man. So were they like what kind of videos were they? Were you just like doing random things or what?
Yeah, when I was little, I would just grab my mom's camera and just start recording just anything. I would just be looking into the camera and just seeing what I could come up with on the spot. Just a whole bunch of ridiculous random.
Do you still have those videos?
Yeah, actually, I have a lot of them, and in the future, I plan to make some sort of goofy origin video to sort of showcase the name.
That'd be nice. That'd be cool, man. I'd love to see that stuff. So you also go ahead.
I was just gonna say it'll probably be on the channel eventually.
That's awesome. Can't wait, man. I love that kind of stuff, man. But you also have a pretty interesting Twitter name. You are at this is doctor or this is the or oh my gosh, I am so bad. At the oh my god, can you just say it for me, please? I'm having trouble.
It's pretty crazy.
So where did that name come from?
It's kind of funny. That actually came from my other sister. She made that name for me when I first got access to internet. Basically, that was like the username that she gave me for stuff.
Wow. So are you like the middle child, or are you younger brother, older brother?
I'm actually the youngest in my family.
Is it hard having two older sister siblings in the family?
It's not too bad.
I know, because I had an older sister. I was, of course, when I was a kid, I was really into Backstreet Boys and NSYNC because that was the music she listened to. So that kind of rubbed off on me. Is there anything like that in your family?
Oh yeah, man, those two bands for sure. But a lot of varied music from my family, which is pretty crazy.
What kind of music do you like listening to now?
Oh man, I listen to everything. I like things from metal to bubblegum pop, like you name it. I pretty much listen to everything.
Well, you got a nice broad palette, I suppose. I mostly listen to like metal and metalcore and screamo and stuff like that. But I mean, recently I found about this guy who is named Watsky, something like that. He's like a white rapper. He's actually got my foot tapping, if you know what I mean. So something different from what I usually listen to.
Oh yeah, dude. I love metalcore and stuff like that, and I've listened to some, like different rap and stuff like that as well. So definitely no stranger to it.
do you have a favorite band right now?
Favorite band is kind of difficult because there's just so many. Like I have kind of like I guess like a top 5.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Let's see. I don't know exactly particular order, but I really like bands like Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco. I like Carnival, 1,000 Foot Crutch.
Ooh.
And I can't remember the 5th that was actually on my list. Probably something like Too Close to Touch. Those guys are really good.
A pretty good list there, I'd say. So what?
I love music.
Yeah, and actually, I was actually going through your channel, and you actually very early on in the channel, about 4 years ago, I guess, you were uploading original songs, and which were recorded and produced by yourself, which is pretty cool. What are your thoughts on those? Looking back at those songs now?
I still like a lot of the stuff that I did, and some of the ideas were interesting. It's like I originally, when I started uploading, at first when I made the channel, I was going to upload goofy videos like that from the origin of my name. But then I decided to upload those musical things like just years later after making the channel instead, just to see kind of what would happen. I started making little video game-esque kind of musical things. I still like those. I eventually plan to start kind of doing a little bit more of those, but hopefully newer sort of method of doing it and showing how it's that I do those things.
Yeah, that'd be cool, because a lot of those songs, they do sound exactly like video game soundtracks from back in the day, which is really cool. Is it tough to put together those songs, or have you got a system, or did you have a system nailed down back then?
Sometimes it can be. Like I kind of, with a lot of those, it was more just kind of plugging in like a keyboard to my computer and then just more or less playing around in one key and just kind of seeing what happened. But yeah, I think now I have a little bit better grasp on some things, but still not like hugely by any means.
Do you have a musical background? Like, did you play a concert instrument or anything like that?
I play a little bit of a few instruments, but mostly I play guitar every once in a while. I'm not like super great at it, but it's really fun to play.
Yeah, same here. Not the best at it, but it's a nice instrument to play. Of course, during high school, I pretty much solely was on the trumpet, and so that's where my love for music kind of started from there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I noticed in one of your previous podcasts that you and I think it was what was it, Joyful Death or Joyful Dead? We're talking about music stuff, and I was really interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we were talking about some Papa Roach and some concerts that we like to go to, and that's actually episode 2, which is, I mean, that's probably about three months old now, that on the time that this podcast will be uploaded. But yeah, we talked a little bit about that kind of stuff. And actually, is there any concerts that you've gone to recently that you've been blown away by?
I haven't actually been to a concert yet. I'm hoping to go at some time, maybe this year or next year, to one.
What would be your top band that you want to see live, or performer, I should say?
Man, that's also tough. Probably either Fall Out Boy, Carnival, or TFK. One of the three. Those are probably the main ones I'd be really interested to go see.
Nice. Yeah, actually, just a few weeks ago, I went to go see the Wonder Years. I don't know if you know them, but that was a really good performance. They were with Tiny Moving Parts and all those people. That was a really fun one. I have a bunch of concerts lined up for this year. Like, I got Warped Tour to go to. I got Dance We Haven't Danced to go to. Got the Slayer finale tour, the big ending tour with all those freaking bands. It's a pretty booked year for me, and the concert scene is really cool. It's also a little bit dangerous, but for the most part, it's a really cool experience to just go and see the bands that you love live.
Nice, yeah. I've heard it can be kind of sketchy at times, depending on where you go.
Oh yeah, well, like the one that the Wonder Years was at, it was like in an old church. They built it, they like stripped it out and put a stage in there, and it was very, very packed, and people were all over the place jumping around and doing their thing, and luckily we didn't get hit in the face, but a guy next to me got hit in the face by a shoe, and I was like, okay, that was too close for me right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. Definitely wouldn't despise you.
So, what YouTubers inspired you to start your Let's Play channel? Are there any that you can name that you went, yep, I want to, because of him, I have the inspiration to start a YouTube channel?
Well, there's quite a few. Like, I watch a lot of different YouTubers and stuff. But actually, I think starting the YouTube gaming thing probably stems from watching Game Grumps and actually recording on a channel called Quest Start with a friend of mine.
Yeah, a lot of people credit Game Grumps to being one of the inspirations for them, and also I hear the name Jacksepticeye a lot too. And personally, I don't watch either of those channels, but I do watch JonTron quite a lot. I do enjoy his videos.
Yeah, I've seen some JonTron videos as well. I mean, I've watched Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, you name it. I've seen a lot of the bigger YouTube gamers. Also really like game theory, but they don't really. I mean, they do games, but mostly they do theories on games.
Yeah, they have some pretty interesting ones. I've watched a few of them when they pop up in my recommended sidebar, whatever you want to call it. Are there any YouTubers out there that you watch that you go, I can make better content than him? And how many subscribers does he have?
Not. I watch a lot of YouTubers like that are anywhere from like some of them have literally like 8 or 9 subscribers, and some of them have all the way up to like 60 million if you like PewDiePie and stuff.
Right.
I don't really think that there are some that I'm like, I could do better than that. Like, I try to do content that's entertaining, but mostly I think I just start recording and I forget where I'm at more or less and just be a dork and just hope that other people enjoy it.
Yeah, I guess the most important part of YouTube is just making content that you like and not worrying about what the other YouTubers are doing. That's for sure.
Yeah, I try to be possible in my videos, and if I'm a dork in my recordings, it's because I'm a dork in real life, and I try to communicate that.
One other question about your name and your avatar. Is your avatar pretty close to what you look like in real life, or is it more of like just a caricature of yourself?
It's kind of close, I would say. Like, I'm probably a little bit bigger, but my friend, a friend of mine actually made that for me, and it's basically like his chibi rendition or whatever of me. So it's pretty great. I have basically the same hair and the same hair color and eyes and such. And orange is my favorite color. So
it is really well done. I really like your avatar there. It's pretty nice. My props to your friend.
I love it. He will be happy to hear this.
So, you are from Georgia, the Peach State. Have you lived there your whole life?
Yep, been here the whole time.
Is it a nice state to live in? Do you enjoy living there?
Do I what now?
Is it a nice state to live in? Do you enjoy living in Georgia?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's nice. Like, I don't really get out too much, but I kind of live in the country, so it's very open, I guess. There's not like a lot going on generally, so it's very calm.
Have you ever been to Atlanta, the biggest city in Georgia?
Yeah, I've been to Atlanta. It can get pretty crazy. I haven't like really done anything in Atlanta too much. I've mostly just kind of been through it, but see.
Yeah, I live pretty close to Cleveland myself in Ohio, and I don't mind going there every so often, but it's not a place that I want to like be at a lot because I kind of like being in the suburbs of it,
Yeah, I definitely understand.
So, actually, very recently there was a news article that I read that there was a school shooting in Georgia with a few people hurt. Are you still in school right now?
No, I've been out of school for a couple of years. I'm not even sure, but yeah.
So, looking back, does like, because I know when I was going to school, it's been about 5 or 6 years now that since I've been out of high school and college, and I couldn't even think of that happening. Like, what kind of goes through your mind when you see a news story like that?
I don't even know. I honestly, like, personally, me, I was homeschooled, so I never really had any of that kind of an issue.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but like, well, I can't understand it. Like, why people would go through and do something like that myself. Definitely don't understand it.
Yeah, it's hard to hear, and I hate seeing those news stories pop up, and yeah, just it was literally breaking news this morning that had happened. I was like, oh, I might as well at least ask him if he's still in school and what he would think of that. So, but let's change topics because I don't really want to dwell on that a lot. And let's talk about the special days you have set up on your channel. You have Poke Monday, which is a freaking fantastic name, by the way. You have Indie Wednesday and Friday Mania so far. Did you come up with all these ideas yourself?
Crispy Dips actually came up with the name for Friday Mania, but the other two, yeah, I love naming series just randomly. So,
well, hey, I really like that Poke Monday one. That's like a real nice wordplay I got going on there. Are there any other days that you want to get something going for, or right now is like the three your trifecta?
Yeah, I've got a few. Like I've also got like a Full Throttle Thursday is what I call a lot of it. Sometimes my Rocket League stuff. There's a lot of different series that I've got like names just written down on my phone for in the future.
That's great, man. What other games are you planning on bringing to the YouTube channel that you haven't done yet?
So many games, man. I keep writing lists and I keep starting new series, and it's getting to the point where I'm like 14 series going at once, and I'm like, I should probably finish some of these.
Right, yeah. I'm having trouble with that with the live stream right now. I have so many live streams that I do, and it's just like, how do I pick which one I want to finish?
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I can't wait. I'll be going on vacation soon. I'm going to be diving into your Bloodborne streams. I can't.
Ooh. Yeah, I've been trying to do like a walkthrough of it, but of course, it's called Return to Bloodborne because I hadn't played the game in like 2 years, but I'm on playthrough number 6. So it's like I'm trying to remember everything that I need to do, and luckily, like people like Varric Dragorna and other people have come out and helped me to kind of get through some spots that I've been like forgetting about. But for the most part, it's been a really great live stream series to have on the channel.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see it. Like I just recently, like it's been a little bit now, but not too long ago, beat Bloodborne for the first time. And it was right before my PS4 died. So hopefully I'll be getting a new one eventually.
Yeah, man.
Doing my own playthrough of Bloodborne.
I love Bloodborne, man. It's one of my top 10 favorite games of all time, hands down. And speaking of Bloodborne, Dark Souls Remastered is coming out, and you're going through the third game on your channel right now. Do you play a lot of Souls-like games? Like I know you played Nioh on the channel as well.
Yeah, I really love those types of games. Like personally, like I was going to do a playthrough of either Bloodborne or Dark Souls 2 whenever Dark Souls 3 finishes, but due to the like pushback for the Dark Souls remaster, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is it hard going from game to game in the Souls kind of like game franchises? Because for me, I've literally had to relearn the controls for each and every Dark Souls game, Bloodborne, for all those other knockoffs, not knockoffs, but like Lords of the Fallen and stuff like that. I've had to literally rethink how I play the games every single time, because I'm mostly a person who dodges and does quick attacks, but in like Lords of the Fallen, it's like they're so slow and stupid, you can't really do that, so you have to kind of rethink how you do things. So is it easier for you personally to go from game to game, or do you have to do what I do and kind of relearn everything?
Yeah, Lords of the Fallen. I've heard a lot of people call that one clunky Souls because it is like that. It's kind of crazy. Mostly for me, learning the controls and stuff is much the controls. I mean, going back and forth between like Dark Souls 3 and Nioh, it's like their controls are way different. So those two for sure, I have to like relearn every time. But going between Souls games to Souls games is not too bad. It's just like you said, it's the way you play it more than like the buttons necessarily. But yeah, it's a totally different strategy for Bloodborne though. Bloodborne is like you got to be aggressive essentially. At least that's the way I like to play it.
Oh yeah, I'm very aggressive too. Those crows won't know what fucking hit them when I get the freaking saw blade out. It's over for them. So with the remaster coming out, you actually went on Twitter and you asked people to do a little challenge with you. So I was wondering if you could kind of go over what that challenge is, and actually I'm going to be participating in it as well.
Oh yeah, awesome. The collab challenge basically would just be a bunch of us, Let's Players. We would all kind of decide on when to start uploading eventually, like essentially any of the Dark Souls games, in the series. But I assume more around Dark Souls Remastered, as that's when it would be coming out.
Yeah.
We would all just kind of record our first episode and just kind of set when we were going to upload that. But we'd shout out each other in the beginning that we're taking part in it, and the challenge would be we would be trying to go through the game as quickly but also as efficiently as possible, and we would gain points based on like how if we beat the boss the first try, or like how many tries it took us to beat the boss, different things like that. And in the end, like whoever has the most points rights, essentially.
That's awesome, dude. I can't wait to start that. Of course, since I'm a live streamer, it might be a little bit different for me, but essentially I'll be doing episodes, quote unquote, of just me playing through it. And of course I'll do all the shoutouts that you need me to do at the beginning, but I think this is a really great idea. Like, I remember when Dark Souls 3 originally came out, people were like, oh yeah, do as many push-ups as you do deaths, and it's like, well, I'm not going to do that. But this I will definitely do.
Yeah, I had been wanting to do some sort of a collab for a while, and I was trying to think of a way that could be easy for other YouTubers, because I know a lot of YouTubers don't really like have a whole lot of time and stuff. Easy that everyone could participate in who wanted to, who didn't really have to do anything other than maybe say a few names and make sure that they know that they're part of it, or note that they're a part of it.
Right.
Just to kind of help out other people with easier access. It's a lot easier, I figured.
So with the remaster of the first game coming out, did you play through Dark Souls 1 before? Because I personally, it's the first time I'll be playing it.
Yeah, it's the first time for me too. I've never played the original Dark Souls. I unfortunately wasn't able to get a PS3, and I've not had a strong enough PC to be able to really run games like that yet.
And final question for today. What other Souls-like games do you think you would like to see come back with either a sequel or a remaster?
Well, I would definitely love to see, obviously Neo. Neo is like, I don't know if you've ever played Neo or not, but I totally recommend that game if you've never played it. It's way different, but I just loved that game. Neo was so much fun. I would probably say that's my favorite PS4 game. And possibly anything new from Software. I'm just really hoping they come up with something really cool.
Yeah, after my Bloodborne run is done, which probably will be 1 or 2 more episodes, I'm gonna go to Neo. Is it Neo? Neo next, and play through that.
Yeah, I think it's Neo. I'm not exactly 100% sure. I don't even know if they actually know.
Well, I think either way, people know what you're talking about. Neo. It's the Japanese type one that has all the different swords in it and the stances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all the time I have today with IsraelMania. I just want to thank him once again for coming out of the podcast and talking with me. It was a blast, dude. All of your links will be down in the description below, of course, so make sure you go check him out. Let's Player and songwriter. Is there anything else you want to add before we take off?
Just thanks for having me, and I had a great time, man. Thanks. Really appreciate it, dude.
Well, not a problem. All right, well, once again, I am your host, Yemmy the Ferret, and this has been another episode of the Ferret Business Podcast.